I would call people up and someone would be a wanted terrorist. I think that's sort of crazy, and nothing phases me. Like, because if you've seen like a 90-year-old woman get arrested for smuggling drugs and she was in a wheelchair, you never know.
I'm your host, Matthew Campoli. On today's episode, we will be welcoming a female powerhouse. She's consistently achieving top producer status. I'm excited to welcome Cynthia Ostos into the building today. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me here. Back then, I was actually working at Pearson Airport in uniform as a CBSA officer. That was the reason I left customs, was because people just hate you for the most part. If you're searching their bags, you're arresting them. A lot of people nowadays, they just think like, oh, I'm going to put out this like video on social media and people are going to call me, right? Like when I speak to agents and they're like, oh, the market's so bad. And I'm like, it's because you're not probably doing the activity. Like you can't just like press a button and be successful in real estate. It doesn't work that way. As business owners, if there's no failure, like you're not moving forward, right?
100%.
So
what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Price to Sell podcast. I'm your host, Matthew Campoli. And on today's episode, we will be welcoming a female powerhouse who has been dominating the marketplace with her team. She's consistently achieving top producer status. And today we're going to break down exactly how she does that. So I'm excited to welcome Cynthia Ostos into the building today. Thank you for coming.
yeah, thanks for having me here.
Of course.
Super excited.
Yeah, it was about time to balance out the guests. It's been pretty male heavy recently. Not even like by choice, just how it's happened.
Yeah.
So thank you for breaking the the pattern.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, not enough females sometimes in the spotlight in real estate, I feel like.
Yeah, but you know what? The ones that are like solid and really, really, truly crushing it. Mm-hmm. So kudos to you. You're one of those. But yeah, if you want to give like a little intro into who you are for the audience that doesn't know you.
Yeah, so I've been selling real estate for 14 long years. I've seen so many things change over that time. So I started in 2010. Back then, I was actually working at Pearson Airport.
Which is cool, yeah.
Yeah, in uniform as a CBSA officer.
Which I want to talk about.
For sure. So I sort of retired early, if you will, from CBSA. Started doing real estate full time and never looked back. So obviously, like I said, 14 years in real estate, mom of 2 small kids. So married. Mm-hmm. What else can I say? Grew up in Mississauga. My parents are South American, so Colombian background.
Cool. Mm-hmm. Mucho gusto.
Yes.
And you, and Mississauga is where you do a lot of your business, right?
The majority, I mean, I would say in and around the GTA. Mississauga is sort of, our office is in Streetsville.
Cool.
Yeah.
So let's chat about the job before real estate.
Yes.
That's cool. I'm a big, like, you studied criminology?
Yes.
I was going to do that. Mm. Did you want to get right into the border service? Or did you want to do something else?
Originally, I wanted to be a police officer way back when.
Yeah. And
then basically I somehow pivoted to being in, still in law enforcement, but at customs. Mm-hmm. The police's schedule, I was like, and then the gun whole thing at the time. So, yeah. But criminology was what I studied.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, because I literally wanted to do that.
Really?
And then I got pulled over once, and the guy wasn't a dickhead. I was like, I don't want to do that to people.
Yeah.
So
that was the reason I left customs, was because people just hate you for the most part. If you're searching their bags, you're arresting them, asking them questions they don't really want to answer. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I can't really do this much longer.
Yeah. Is it like a thing that they all have to like really look mad and stuff all the time?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay, because every time I travel, it's like there's something like, it's got they got an edge to them, like they have something to prove right away.
It really depends who you get.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 Do you have any cool stories?
Oh my God, so many.
Okay, can we share one?
I mean, I would say for the most part, people get the most upset. And again, this was like 12 years ago when I left, so it's been a minute. But people body pack food a lot of times, especially Europeans.
Body pack? What do you mean body pack?
Yeah, like they'll strap sausages to themselves, like actually prosciutto, like food, meat, right? Because you're not allowed to bring that into the country. So, when we catch them, they'd get really upset, like temper tantrums. And, it's like body packing food. I mean, you would never think that's a thing.
Yeah.
And then, of course, like just like weird fetishes we would come across, like a lot of, I would say, like people sort of cheating on their spouses, traveling to see, their significant others that their spouse here back in Canada doesn't know about. So there was some of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you find that out?
I mean, because the indicators, as they call them, of
Yeah.
someone that, let's say, is, has something to hide, if you will, they're similar for like if you're cheating or
Yeah.
if you're coming in with drugs, right? So asking people, along the questions, like, you're really nervous. Like, is there something you're hiding? Like, are you bringing drugs in with you today? And then it sort of deviates to like, no, it's just, my wife's outside to pick me up. I was with my girlfriend in Cuba, right? So, and then it's like they just calm down because now it's like they've told what the whole, nervousness was about, right? So,
Okay.
yeah, you see so many things there. We're
Yeah.
working with people coming from all over the world. Like, you see it all. There's
Yeah.
really just like an array.
Anything
of
really
things.
crazy? Like just like.
I mean, there's crazy, like, I would call people up and someone would be a wanted terrorist. I think
Oh,
that's sort of
interesting.
crazy, right?
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
So keeping your cool under pressure, right? In that job, like I learned it on
Yeah.
a daily basis, right? Like I would have to do that.
Yeah.
So, you'd look someone up, wanted terrorists, calling Interpol and stuff like this, CSIS. And you would be, cool, calm, and collected and carry a conversation, like all kinds of stuff. It's just
Yeah.
crazy what comes through our borders. They're doing a very important job.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Cool. I like that stuff. I'm just genuinely interested.
They did
So-
start filming a show there as soon as I left, like a few years later. Of course, they have the border show that I don't know what it's called.
I
but
remember that. I
They wouldn't
forgot.
show you like the really intense stuff on
Yeah.
that show. It's really just watered down. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Anything like what's the biggest thing you've learned from there that you've taken into life?
Honestly, and I don't want to sound jaded or anything, but I learned that things aren't always what they seem and nothing phases me. Like, because like if you've seen like a 90-year-old woman get arrested for smuggling drugs and she was in a wheelchair, it's like you never know, right? So I think going into real estate, dealing with people also on a daily basis is, nothing phases me, and I really learned to ask tough questions, right? That maybe that don't come as easy to most realtors,
Yeah.
to really just ask super pointed questions to find out, who to spend time with.
What are some of these questions?
I mean, ones like that we ask as realtors. you
Realtors,
mean?
yeah. Let's pivot to real estate now.
Yeah. So, I mean, asking people, digging deep on the finances, right? Like right now, we're in such a high rate environment and it is really hard to qualify, right? Like, so asking, how much, it sounds super basic to share this with you, but like, how much do you have for your down payment? Like, have you run your numbers? Like, let's look at what a monthly payment looks like for you. Like, how much do you make per year, right? Like, really diving into those numbers. I think me and the team, we do that a lot more than average realtors because we feel comfortable and we know how important that is to get a deal done, even before we get out and show any property or to even talk about anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super cool. So that's some of the skills that you've taken from Border Patrol into real estate.
100%. I'm just fearless when it comes to questions.
Nice. Yeah. Are you asking people's passports too, or?
No, but yeah, sometimes like if we have to meet a stranger, it's like,
Yeah.
send us your ID. Like,
Yeah.
sorry, but
Exactly.
yeah.
It's cool. That's
Yeah.
some cool stuff to take from you. Like I was in the barber industry, and so a lot of skill sets transferred over for me too.
Yeah.
So I think if people had the luxury of a career prior, there's a lot to take into real estate.
Yeah, especially if it's
Sales.
with the public, right?
Yeah,
Like, and I never had a
exactly.
sales background, right?
Yeah, same.
Going into real estate, but I just think like the 10 years I did spend in uniform, like it just really, the skills are so transferable.
Yeah. Okay, so let's pivot into real estate. So you have a team of how many?
There's 3 licensed agents, myself and an admin,
Amazing.
and an ISA actually. Sorry.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So how does your the team structure look like for you guys?
Yeah, so I started my team in 2017. Back then, I decided I was not going to work with buyers predominantly anymore, so I pivoted to working more on the listing side and obviously running the team. So basically at the beginning, it was more just like buyer agents, myself on the listing side. And now my team certain members do list and help buyers as well. But I mostly myself work with listings.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It is.
I mean, I have put in the time. I spent 7 years, let's say, out there, right, with buyers, sellers, doing it all, being exhausted.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What's some of the biggest lessons you've learned from building a team?
Oh my God. With a team, it's like, honestly, I feel like at this point, I'm sort of still in real estate because I have a team with these amazing people. I feel like I may not have wanted to do this as long because, it is a lot to have a team. It's much easier to be on your own and to be successful and have greater profits if you're on your own. Mm-hmm. It's time versus money, right? Mm-hmm. So, yeah. I can't remember if I answered all your question there.
But I can ask you, so what are some do's and don'ts of team building?
I mean, I think the numbers, you really have to look at, what is your goal, right? Is it transactions? Is it, a certain profit that you're looking to make? And then looking at the members you have or you want to find and knowing okay, we need to break this down, right? I can't say, for many years I was I want to sell 100 homes. And I just kept throwing out that number until one of my coaches was like, okay, so if you want to sell 100 homes, who's selling the 100? You're doing how many? And I would be like, okay, maybe I'll do 20 to 30. And then it's okay, but if your other team members are only doing 5 each, and you have 4 members, well, you're not getting to 100, right? So I feel like it's really dialing backwards, right? And then seeing okay, is this realistic? And from, if it's a transaction side, and then really having clear expectations for everyone's roles, and how you handle leads, right? It's really running a startup.
Yes, it is.
Right. And I mean, I was and am the sole team leader, right? I find a lot of people that run teams, they have a partner or their spouse or someone. And that's the thing I find the most challenging is I didn't go to school for business, right? So it's you're literally starting a startup on your own, and you're the marketing department, you're HR, you are everything, right? It's just a lot. So knowing, having a laid out structure and a blueprint for what it is you're trying to do. Because I feel just like me, so many people start teams and they're oh, this sounds super fun, and I'm just gonna hire this person. And you know what I mean? At the beginning, I was oh, she's pretty, she's cute, I think, yeah, she could work with me, right? But there's so much more, right?
There is.
I'm sure.
Big time. Well, yeah, I mentioned off the pod, what I experienced last year in the team building and versus what I'm doing now, I wasted a lot of time. No, I didn't waste a lot of time, but I learned a lot because I did everything wrong. But the same mentality, just yeah, I can put this person on, this person on, this person on.
Right.
But I feel you definitely need to hire smart and have an interview process.
100%.
And certain guidelines that people need to meet.
A big thing for me was my sales coach. He said to me, you need to gauge a person's level with how their scripts are, their sales skills, right before you hire them. Because if they're at a 1 and I have to get them to a 10, that's way too much work, right? So having role play, hearing, how their skills are just off the bat, and gauging is this someone I want to invest time with? Because in the beginning, a lot of times there is no return right away. So it's do you want to invest the time? And if you do, well, how much time will you have to invest in order to see some of those fruits of,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so super important. And what are you guys doing to consistently fill up the pipeline with business? How do you guys work your, is the database thing? Do you do online leads?
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing is over the years, one thing I did really well was every single person I would meet, even if it was at an open house, someone called me, everybody would go in the database, call me a database hoarder. But that's basically what I did over the years. So I have a robust database, right? So we prospect every day. Obviously we also do like client events, keeping in touch with our past clients. We probably have like 300, somewhere 350 past clients at this point. But I'd say like prospecting and having those conversations, and we go over our numbers every week in our team meeting, like how many conversations we had in real estate, how many appointments we've set. So there's a component of accountability.
Yeah.
Right. Which I think a lot of people nowadays, they just think like, oh, I'm going to put out this like video on social media and, people are going to call me, right? Like everyone's looking for that like easy, quick pill or, and maybe like years down the road, that might be the only way. Like, I don't know, maybe, with no home phones anymore, it's going to be harder to get people's landlines or whatever. Right. So I don't know.
Yeah. No,
but we believe in prospecting.
No, it's super important. Me too. It's the mundane, like boring tasks every single day.
Yes.
We just got to laser in on, and people lose track of that with the noise out there, including myself. I've been there, but this year is most important for me is to just hone in on, and I'm doing all that same.
And it sounds
style
so
of work.
boring.
It's so boring,
right? So people almost don't want to hear that, but I think like it's the key to success, right? Like when I speak to agents and they're like, "Oh, the market's so bad," and I'm like, I mean, it's because you're not probably doing the activity. Like you're in control of. Sure, the market can be tough, right? Like last fall was terrible, but it's like if you're doing the activity, you're in control of your real estate production and your business, right?
Big time. That's the hardest part people have is to understand that.
100%. And it's the whole society we live in.
I know, it's so true.
Right now it's like Amazon Prime, right? Like it all comes like
so fast.
Right away. Like I want to find a mail order bride, like everything's
literally
there online, right? So it's like you can't just like press a button and be successful in real estate. It doesn't work that way.
And you have something interesting. You have a community hero program?
Yes.
So what's that about? That's like a really cool niche, I feel like you've discovered.
Yeah, so because of my background in law enforcement, basically anyone that buys or sells with us, they get like a benefit if they're a community hero. So anybody in law enforcement, essentially, like on the front lines, it's just our way of giving back to those people. Right?
How does that work for you?
Yeah, I mean, it just launched. It's been something I've been trying to get off the ground for many years. Cool. So we have sort of relaunched it again, just like the past month.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I like it. When I was looking into it, I think it's smart.
Yeah.
It's a little niche for yourself.
Exactly.
And you can like funnel in something specific.
Yep. I'm actually going
that's actually pretty big. So
on Thursday. So we sponsored the Polar Plunge with Peel Police.
Nice.
So we were sponsors, and this Thursday actually we have our appreciation luncheon. So excited to go to that and network with more people in law enforcement, because that's my background, right? 10 years I spent in uniform. So
for sure.
I really connect with them.
Yeah, it's very cool. And then you also have this is not the bio for the team, but a holistic approach.
Yes. Yes.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, I mean, it's very much like, you know how you go to like a doctor and they're just looking for a quick fix for the most part, right? Like if this hurts, I'll give you this. If you think of like how naturopath doctors work, they look at the whole picture. So as realtors, we really want to look at the whole picture, right? So if someone wants to buy a home, we're like asking them a lot of questions, right? Like questions is my whole background in law enforcement. So just trying to figure out like, okay, if this is your forever home, do you want to be here for 5 years? Like, what's your plan? Because I find like so many people that we talk to, they're like, oh, I just like bought this pre-construction. And I'm like, okay, like what was your intention when you purchased this? And they're like, I don't know. I just bought it. You know, I plan to maybe sell it on assignment or something. I don't know. And then it's like, they don't even know how assignments work or, right? Like, I just find like people don't dig deep enough to find out like what the goal is behind the purchase, or where do they want to get to in 10 years, 20 years? Do they want to build a portfolio of investments? Like, right? So that's the approach we take. And yeah, that's why I'm probably still around. I feel like all these years later, like we're not just trying to like sell you a property and be like, see you later.
For sure. It's super like, there's so many horror stories, right?
Yeah, unfortunately.
And I've had clients come to me like, yeah, I bought this. I don't know what to do with it. And it's like, research did you do when you bought that? It's such a big investment.
You would think.
Yeah, but it's very common.
It is.
Unfortunately. And so for someone like yourself that's incredibly like busy, doing a lot of volume, running a team, how do you stay focused? Like how do you keep your mind sharp to stay like on top of things and motivated and all that? Like what are you doing?
Honestly, I can't tell you I have
Okay.
the secret to that. I think it's my passion for real estate. I think that just keeps me, focused on what's important for the day because every day is so different. Running a team, obviously your team members need you and then your employees need you and your kids need you. And like, I'm just pulled in so many directions. I really just focus on like the high level things that need to get done in the day to make sure that they happen. So yeah.
And you mentioned kids before we spoke on live here.
Yes.
You said when you had your kids, that those were your highest producing years.
Yes.
At the time. Why do you think that was?
Well, the highest producing years I had was, with my daughter, my first, because I had built out the team to the biggest it was. At that time, there was 5 licensed agents, myself, and an admin. Obviously, I think it was around 2021, somewhere around there. And obviously, it was an easier market, if you will. But it's all the years of hard work finally paying off, I think. Because I stuck through till the end. It's almost like you get tested, right? Like how many 85% of agents quit after year 2.
Yeah.
So the fact that like by the time I had my daughter, I had been doing real estate for quite a long time and finally it had paid off with the team members, right?
Yeah.
So it was a lot of work though to get there.
Do you think that actually having your daughter was like an extra fuel though too?
I mean, I'm someone where I worked right up till the day I had my daughter.
Yeah.
Like, some people, they like take off time before they have a baby. I don't know if that was it, but I never really disconnected, truthfully. So I think if I had disconnected from my business and the team, that obviously would have been reflected in the numbers.
For sure.
But that's also a big sacrifice. Like I look back now and I think like I was crazy to do that. Yeah.
And so you have 2 kids now.
Yes.
So how are you balancing all of this?
Leverage with my nanny. So I have a nanny that lives with us.
Cool. You recommend that?
I do.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
I do. And my husband, obviously he's also super supportive, even though he's also very busy. He runs a tech company based out of Silicon Valley. So as we speak, he's in California.
Does he want to come on here?
Sure. But we're 2 business owners, obviously in different areas, both sort of different but the same in a way. And we're very busy. And if we didn't have a nanny, we probably would not have had a family or been able to do all of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
He was the one that was like, when we were having my daughter, he's like, we really need a nanny. And I was like, I don't know. I'm going to be home a lot. Like, I think I could handle it.
Yeah.
No, I'm like, no.
For sure. It's like one of those things where it's like a leverage. That's a part of leveraging in itself.
Yeah, and I just want to add that I am home with my kids, like throughout having the babies. Like I would be physically in the home, but I'd be like working and on calls.
Yeah.
It's not like I was like out of the house a lot because again, I was working on the listing side, so I wasn't out showing property. I just want to say that I was home in the house with my kids.
Yeah,
right? Which
of course.
The
but like the little things are just like you're not worrying about those little small
exactly.
things. Yeah, which is very time consuming. So that's like the leverage in that sense is very smart.
Yeah. And I think for busy parents in real estate, like getting a babysitter or someone to help, like if you are going to be like half-assing parenthood, I would say don't do that. Like get a babysitter, right? Like every weekend our nanny is off, but we have a babysitter, Kim, shout out, because she watches all of our stuff. And she comes and helps us, right? Because like if we're going to take a phone call or something, like, maybe your child will like fall or you're not 100% there. Yeah. Right. So we just have extra help and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, no, exactly. I agree. So I'd love to jump into like the future now of real estate. And so you recently joined DXP.
I did.
And is there like what was like your main like motivating factor for doing that?
Oh my God. Do you really want to get me started? Because you know how people are like, oh, EXP agents. Like
Yeah, I do.
it's just, like I said, I've been selling real estate 14 years. I started with Remax. I've been with all the big brands, Keller Williams, Remax, and the smaller ones too, like boutique ones. And then, EXP, I did hear about it back in like 2018. So it's not like I did just switch, but it's not like it's the first time I heard about it. When I heard it this time, though, I think like after being in the business for so long and, just really understanding what a real estate business is all about and all the work that we do, I just thought, I really want to align myself with a brokerage that is built by agents for agents, right? I'm so passionate about that. And we are owners in the company because we're shareholders, right?
Yeah.
So no other brokerage is offering what EXP has. So that's why I was just like, this is like a no-brainer. And obviously I'm going to be iconing as well, which is great because for those, icon, you get back your cap that you've paid.
All your splits.
Right?
So it's like you made 100% all year, which is amazing.
Yeah, it's like you're working for free.
Yeah.
Like nobody's doing that.
Yeah.
Like you get an award, you go to a lunch, you take some pictures and all of that. But EXP is actually like rewarding you in so many ways. And
Financially, most importantly.
yeah, I just thought like it just doesn't make sense not to be here. And that was part of the reason I switched. I just saw a lot of opportunity.
Yeah, and same. It's if you think long term, especially if you've been in the business a long time to know the pain points, and it then makes so much sense. I think maybe some newer agents don't really know the differences, but the long term of like the other income streams and the stuff that's building in the background because we don't have a retirement, it's like a no-brainer.
Yeah, but that being said, I want to ask you, why are people so like hesitant sometimes to make the switch? And I was one of them. Like people, like I spoke to, I think 3 different people along the journey to come to EXP, but it's like, just be open-minded, like listen to what the model has to offer. Like sometimes when I'm on the phone now and people hear I'm with EXP, it's like, oh, okay. And I'm like, but do you know the model? Like you're kind of like talking about something you don't even know about.
Yeah, I just think it's ignorance.
Yeah.
And then people are very comfortable too, right?
Because even if we're trying to recruit someone, let's say, like, what do you get from the agent? It's like $2,000 something. Like it's like
it's not much.
less than $3,000.
Yeah.
Like I can make a lot more in my real estate business. And it's like, I see it as like, they call it a pyramid. It's a pyramid of realtors that want to support each other, whether it's like top or down.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so I was on a call with a gentleman from Florida, Andre LaFontaine.
Yeah, Andre's great.
And I'm like, this guy is so nice. And he actually cares about my success.
Yeah.
And he's here to help me. It's like no other brokerage. Like there's going to be people like that.
Yeah. Especially the global reach and the access you have to all these people, because
it's unbelievable.
it's just a huge, and everyone's just kind of incentivized to help each other. That's what creates that culture.
Yeah.
And in turn, it's just like, everyone's really happy. Everyone's like, wants everyone to succeed. There's no like I want to do better than you or that ugly competition. It's just like a really healthy, I can't even use the word competition because it doesn't really exist. Everyone just wants to help each other.
Yeah. And I've never felt this way about a brokerage. Like I actually have on my laptop an EXP sticker. Like I'm
nice.
like, I've never been one to do stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But I just love it so much. Like Glenn was an agent, started as an agent. Our CEO now, he was an agent as well, right? Like these are the leadership, people that we have in leadership. So
yeah, it's an interesting, it's a cool change that I think had to happen to really address some pain points that we all face. And it's like being a part of it.
Me too.
Welcome.
Yes, thank you.
And speaking on the future of real estate.
Yes.
Now there's all these things going on in the States more so.
Yes.
With like the NAR settlement and all that. And I'm reading articles where it's literally saying like, you need to fire your real estate agent. You don't need to work with a real estate agent anymore. More to cater to the States. Yeah. But essentially like a buyer's agent. So I think, me just being the history major I am and thinking very long term, there's going to be a potential shift because of an impact on like the media that might give consumers the confidence to like maybe not want to work with agents. Do you feel the same way? I want your opinion on that. That's just my opinion.
I don't.
No? Okay.
Honestly, I cannot tell you the amount of times where we're working with a client and I'm like, thank God these people have us.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
there was a client where we were looking at a property. I had a home inspector out to see it for these buyers that we were working with. And they literally messaged us saying, like, did we buy this home already? And I was like, what? Right? Like, it's just buying a house is so complex. Like, it's not something, sure, try it on your own. And that's the thing about this, like, whole lawsuit in the States. It's like, well, you don't have to pay out this amount, or like, you know, it's a choice you have as a seller. So I still have a hard time with this whole lawsuit. And here in Canada and Ontario, like, you don't have to hire an agent.
Yeah.
Good luck. Like, once these people, like your average person, sees the crap we deal with, like the flakiness, the patience you need.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my God.
Super true. Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to, it's interesting what's going on. So I wanted to hear your thoughts. So a couple last questions for you.
Yeah.
Kind of like a quick, like rapid fire. Cool?
Sure.
What was your biggest failure?
Oh my God. My biggest failure. I'm not that good with rapid questions.
Well, you're going to be good right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. My biggest failure. Oh my God, I'm sure there's something. I'm just trying to think here.
We can come back to it.
Is that bad?
No, it's like me all the time. I'm buffering all the time. So
is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're buffering. Oh my God. There's been there's failures all the time, right?
Sure.
It's like, how do you pick one, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think as business owners, if there's no failure, like, you're not moving forward, right?
100%.
So I don't even know if I could pick one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we'll come back to it.
Yeah,
if it comes to your brain, but we'll move to the next one. Who is one person that has impacted your life significantly?
Someone that probably
Maybe like a mentor.
You're worst at this rapid fire. I mean, I would think my mom. She's like an amazing woman, just so positive. Like, she's married to a very difficult man and somehow always has a smile on her face. So I think she just was such a good role model for us, and she poured into us, me, my brother, and my sister growing up. So I would say my mom.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. And if you to leave the audience with like one piece of advice, maybe to the realtor out there, the business owner, anyone who's looking to succeed in life, what would that be?
Yeah, I think it's just so important to do your homework, whether it's about anything. Like, if you want to become a real estate agent, do your homework. If you're looking to buy a home, do your homework. Like, I feel like we're just living in such a fast-paced society that people don't take a minute to really step back and research enough, whatever it is that, you know, like, I was on a call yesterday with someone where he was like, you know, you're the first person that mentioned capital gains to me, and I have this investment property. Like, nobody mentioned that to me in terms of, like, when I sell it, that this was something to think about. And again, it's like, I really do a lot of homework, right? So I think people just really just do a lot of stuff on a whim, right? They don't give enough thought to it. So whatever it is, I think you need to do your homework.
Smart.
And
simple, but very important.
Yes.
I like it. Well, Cynthia, you've been awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. For your new fans out there, where can they find you?
We're on Instagram, on Facebook, Cynthia Ostos team. So yeah.
Cool. We'll put all your links in the description.
Awesome.
And to all my people out there, you're the best. Please, and if you're new to this, please like, subscribe, and share. If you guys found value in this, would love if you just share with a friend. If you're not subscribed and you always listen, then subscribe. Just do it. Quit a little click. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Well, peace.